up on Tech News today. Goodbye, CD players. They're leaving in a car. Actually, they're leaving your car. Also, OS X Lion gets owned and George Lucas defeated. All that and more coming up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Wednesday, July 27th, 2011. Tech News Today is brought to you by Netflix. Watch thousands of TV episodes and movies on your PC, Mac, iPad, iPhone, or TV instantly, all streamed directly to you, saving you time, money, and hassle. For your free 30-day trial, go to netflix.com/twit. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz, Akhtar.
And I'm Jason Howell.
Joining us today via Skype, Mr. Derek Colanduno, co-host of the official podcast of Skeptic Magazine, Skepticality,
Hey,
and
Derek.
also bigwig on the DragonCon Skeptic Track scene.
Yeah, I kind of run that thing.
You
It's
kind of make it happen.
It's been all I've been doing for the past couple days. All this stuff is kind of down to the last minute. We got a month away now.
Yeah, DragonCon coming up Labor Day weekend. I will be there. Brian Brushwood will be there. Veronica Belmont will be there. We'll be doing all kinds of podcasts there. They have a podcast track there, as well as all kinds of cool fantasy and sci-fi stuff. And, of course, Skepticality.com, just with one itty at the end.
Easy for you to say.
Is where you can find the Skepticality podcast. Let's start off with some hacking news. Lulzsec back in the news. The Metropolitan Police in the UK are claiming to have arrested Topiary. He is one of the spokespersons for AnonOps and Lulz Security. They have, in fact, arrested a 19-year-old male in the Shetland Islands and taken him to London for questioning while they search his room. They also say they have searched and what's it called when they questioning? They're questioning a 17-year-old male that they haven't identified yet. Anonymous at the same time is denouncing PayPal and starting a boycott of them for acquiescing to government pressure and blocking payments to WikiLeaks. Their statement up on Pastebin expresses the group's outrage that the FBI has arrested suspected criminals, and of course right on the day that they start this, another one of their members allegedly is arrested.
The reason why PayPal even had any information at all was because people were trying to do a DDoS on PayPal for not allowing WikiLeaks donations to occur, right? That was the situation there?
Well, the protest that they posted up on Pastebin is about WikiLeaks, right? It's saying they were blocking payments by WikiLeaks, and that's wrong, and we're outraged that the FBI is arresting suspected criminals, and so everyone stop using PayPal. They claim 35,000 accounts have been closed, but in a separate piece of news today, there are apparently 1,000 internet IP addresses were given to the FBI by PayPal. So I'm not sure that Anonymous actually knew that when they posted their protest this morning.
Yeah, they seem to, I mean, there's two hacking stories, and they're kind of related very much by PayPal. But this is interesting seeing Anonymous say something as simple as, let's boycott these guys. It's not that they're not going after them so much as they're saying, stop using PayPal, and then that's the way we'll vote with our wallets.
Well, also, how do they have the 35,000 accounts being closed number? Is it just because people claimed 35,000 people said, I closed my account today? I mean, apparently,
I guess looking at Twitter, checking the chat room.
PayPal's stock was down a little bit, but the market was in general, so it's hard to say that was definitely the correlation. Topiary is actually, as far as Lulzsec goes, he was the guy who was well with words, wasn't he?
Yeah,
the one that he's kind of funny and managed the Twitter account and wrote some of their manifestos.
And it is kind of a big get if this is in fact Topiary.
Yeah.
But then I also often suspect that these IDs are sometimes managed by more than one person. That would be a good way to protect the identity of them.
Right.
I'd imagine. I mean, the whole group seems to be changing over every week or two.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's anonymous. They've got to keep moving to stay a step ahead of the man. It is interesting that this time they're saying we're going to do a perfectly legitimate and legal protest. Vote with your wallet.
It's not going to cause any more investigation. It's just simply shutting down PayPal accounts because obviously PayPal uses your money to invest with that to make more money. So the simple idea is close out your account. Now PayPal's worth less, and they have to deal with that. because they weren't allowing for all kinds of fun things like donations to WikiLeaks. Although PayPal has a right to not do that if they wanted to. I mean, they're a private company. They can do what they want. But if you don't like what they're doing, this is a really smart way to protest something. Just don't give them your money.
And apparently on December 15th, PayPal turned over a USB thumb drive containing the Radware reports, which documented approximately 1,000 IP addresses that sent malicious network packets to PayPal during the DDoS attacks. So they said, look, if you sent a lot of packets at us, we're going to list your IP address, hand it over to the FBI. They didn't tell anybody they did it. It was actually an FBI affidavit was first published yesterday by an NBC affiliate in Dallas, laying out how the FBI was using this information to target folks. And it looks like they're also going after, they were putting out the affidavit in support of a search warrant for a home in Arlington, Texas, where a couple and their son were among those July 19th targets when they arrested 16 people, although those people have not been charged. The house was the source of 3,678 packets in about 2.5 hours, though.
And the FBI is using this list from PayPal. They're going after 1,000 people. Now, this goes back to the whole thing. Is DDoS a sit-in? Is it illegal in that way? Because even a sit-in is like trespassing. If you're in the way, you're stopping a flow. So this is going to really push that. Is this the legality of the whole DDoSing thing, I guess?
Well, yeah, I mean, they've arrested 16 people. I think that they feel that it's illegal.
Well, they give a lot of pressure, though. Once, like, let's say, back to the other story with Topiary, they're going to put pressure on him to find out more information about other people in Anonymous. Same thing with this. As the FBI cracks down on more and more people, they're basically just trying to get them to talk at that point, right? Who else are they going to link themselves to?
I think they're bringing charges against him, too, though.
Yeah.
In
and that's probably what's going to happen with
cases.
plea bargains, though. They're going to say, well, if you give up your buddy, we'll give you less of a punishment here.
Yeah, I think that's what they're looking for too. I mean, they're apparently searching his home while he's detained. If he's smart, they're not going to find a darn thing in his home. They just want him to give up information.
Yeah, it's most of these tracker people are way too smart for that.
To keep anything relevant, although a lot of folks using low orbit ion
Or
cannon,
they could think they're smart
ended up
enough they'll
leaving a
never get
trail.
caught, and they could be just leaving things around. They could be that dumb too.
Apparently, the low orbit ion cannon attacks on PayPal had some strings in them, like WikiLeaks and things that identified them as people attacking because of that. I don't know how damning that is, though, on a day when everyone was DDoSing. You would assume anybody sending a lot of packets was doing it because of the WikiLeaks protest.
If you were a big PayPal user and you said, you know what, I really identify with Anonymous and LulzSec, and I like this cause, I'm shutting down my account, what's the most obvious alternative service?
Google
I
Wallet?
can't think of something that's as convenient for me as PayPal would be. If I
Actually,
wanted
Amazon's
to do
got a
this.
series of payments. I've seen them pop up on other sites like buy.com, but there's usually much larger companies are using things like that.
Google
So,
Checkout.
yeah,
With the Google Wallet coming, with the near field communications, that's a big one. What about Bitcoin? If you're if you're in the hacker scene, maybe there was a story we're not going to get to today about a guy who was actually denied entry into the United States because he couldn't prove that he had enough money to pay for his visit.
Right, he said he was going to be there for 2 months.
Because he was going to be paying people by Bitcoin.
He had $600 in cash on him, and the customs didn't allow him through because he was from China, saying, "Well, how are you possibly going to pay for your 2-month stay?" He goes, "Well, I have money in Bitcoin."
Well, he wasn't Chinese. He was just coming from
Coming
China.
from China.
Just
My
making
mistake.
that- Yeah.
And they try to explain what exactly is Bitcoin, and guess what? Customs didn't understand exactly what that was at all.
Shocker. I am shocked.
Another shocker is that Ford is going to do away with CD players in its cars. Actually, it's not that much of a
No.
shocker, is it?
Well,
Wow.
I guess somebody had to do it at some point, right? It might as well be Ford. I mean, they push a lot of the tech-savvy dashboard, Ford Sync, and all that good stuff.
But ever since the new CEO came, this is where they're going.
Cheryl Connolly, the Global Trends and Futuring Manager at Ford, said that in-car entertainment technology is moving digital more rapidly than almost any other element of the vehicle experience, and the in-car CD player, much like pay telephones, is destined to fade away. I would have compared it to, I don't know, cassette
decks?
players.
Yeah.
8 tracks.
Yeah, something like that.
8-track.
I had a cassette player in my car long after I ever used it. And I remember when I just had a CD player and a radio, I thought, oh, this is weird. Even though I didn't use that cassette player, it seemed just sort of like if you had the cool model, you had all the choices there.
Well, I still have a tape deck adapter in my car. So, like, I have an old car now, so I'm like, wow, okay, this is great. Now CDs are going away. My car's going to look even older. But, I mean, this isn't that big a deal. I mean, Ford has been really productive when it comes to putting technology in their cars. There are USB ports that can read iPods and other devices. On top of that, it's got Bluetooth pairings. Like, you never really, I mean, what are the chances of you bringing a booklet of CDs into your car and changing.
We
CDs.
say that because we are, using technology more than the average person.
I
but-
also have a booklet of CDs in my trunk right now, Iyaz, in my car.
Well,
I do.
how often do you go to the trunk of your car to get the CDs out?
Well, I rotate them every once in a while. I've got one of those like 6 CD
Do you
things
think
in
Ford's
the back.
alienating anybody by doing this? I mean, just because we use technology a lot, is this the norm though?
Well, this is also because they say that it's expensive to install CD players into cars. So it's like, not only do they want to be futurists about the whole thing, but they're trying to save some costs based on the thinking that people really aren't going to be using CDs that much going forward.
Yeah,
they
we
still
have
are
like
now.
4 or 5 of those books as well in the car, and we've used our iPads or our pods or our iPhones for the past like 3 years or 4. I haven't put a CD in my car for a long time.
So, Derek, tell me if this is going to work for you. The new Ford Focus dashboard is going to have a USB socket instead of a CD player.
Well, my truck, I already outfitted my Ford F-150 with that about 7 years ago. So
So you're fine.
They're catching up
Yeah.
to you. That's good.
That's it's about time, says Derek. All right, let's take a quick break and thank our sponsor, Netflix. Netflix streams thousands of TV episodes and movies directly to you instantly, saving you time, money, and hassle. You can watch them on your Mac, your PC. You can watch them on your television. You can watch them on your Apple TV, your Roku. You can use your game console, your PS3, your Xbox, all of that to watch streaming movies for free for 30 days if you use netflix.com/twit. A lot of great documentaries. A lot of people don't realize the documentaries that you can get on there. If you're into documentaries, or if you're one of those people who's like, I wish I could watch more documentaries, but I never know where to find them. I don't have time to go pick them up. You can stream them right now.
Yeah, my instant queue is full of documentaries in hopes one day I'll watch them all and be a better person, but that hasn't happened yet.
Also, the first 4 seasons of Mad Men dropped today on
That's
Netflix.
right. Here in
So-
the U.S.
So on classic TV,
You've
there's
got
like
until 2012 to get caught up and
Full run
then
of
jump into
cheers.
season 5 with the rest of us.
Anyway, if you're looking to try out Netflix, do it for free. Netflix.com/twit, free for 30 days streaming. Or if you know somebody who would benefit from this, give them the URL. They don't have to watch the show to take advantage of the free offer. That's all I'm saying. Netflix.com/twit. We thank them for their support of Tech News Today. All right. A new mobile social network has come. My God, it's about time.
I've been
I know.
thinking it's been so lonely online lately. I wish
Right.
I had a social network I could take with me.
Well, this one's for gaming, right? So we have Game Center for iOS users. There's also OpenFaint and Plus and lots of ways to be able to log in to games that take advantage of the network and play them. But usually they're platform specific, right? So if you're on one platform, you may not be able to get access to that login on a different platform. That's what Dina is trying to fix in cooperation with NG Moko here in the U.S. They own NG Moko. They bought them back in August. And Dina's Japanese language Mobage service has 30 million users. They're now launching an English language version of Mobage. And what's interesting is it's launching on the Android marketplace. Now, Jason, the Android marketplace doesn't have an official Game Center like situation. What do people usually use now?
I think the one I see most often is definitely OpenFaint, and I'm seeing that more and more lately on a lot of the kind of higher profile games especially. But that's the only one that I really recognize kind of bouncing into the gaming experience. I don't really see anything else personally.
And because Mobage because Mobage is now part of NG Moko, you got some high profile games, Pocket God, PlayForge, Zombie Farm. These may sound silly to you if you're not playing them, but they're really popular with a lot of folks.
Okay, so I'm pretty unfamiliar with this. I've seen what Game Center has done for Apple, very little actually. What is the hope of this? If you can log in with this one social network, what can you do with this?
Well, the way these work is you log in and then you see all your friends who are also logged in, and you can play with them in some aspect of the game. So let's say in We Rule, you get to visit the kingdoms of everybody else who's your friend who's also playing We Rule. In Game Center, for instance, you can see high scores of your friends and compare them.
What does Dina and NG Moko make out of this? Do they get advertising revenue with ads running through this little game center, whatever they're calling it, I've never really understood this field.
Yeah, go ahead, Derek.
it's 2000 all over again. It's the bubble. Let's just make new things and pump them up.
Well, what they do is the social graph, right? You've heard of that, and everybody wants to monetize the social graph because you got all this information you can mine and make money off of by selling ads and marketing and all of that. This is what they call the interest graph. So they're saying, look, all these people have the same interest. They're interested in these games and they're friends. Let's make money off of that. It's a more narrow but possibly more valuable way of making money off of social networking.
But this thing's looking to become the default Game Center-like device.
Yeah, it's another
for
one.
Android, though. That's what it's trying to be. So that's
well, I know they're saying they want to be
everything.
cross-platform. Yeah. They're just starting on Android, which most people don't. Most people start on iOS, but I think with Game Center out there, they're like, well, let's start where there's more fertile ground, where there's more demand for it.
And maybe they'll put it into Windows Phone or whatever they call it now.
Yes, Windows Phone 7. Although they just want us to call it Windows Phone. I even had somebody email saying, please just call it Windows Phone. It's confusing when you call it Windows Phone 7.
You have to have the 7 there so you can say it's a Windows Phone 7 phone. Otherwise, you're saying it's a Windows Phone phone.
Right. Well, you just say it's a Windows Phone. That's what they want. That's what Microsoft wants. They backtracked on the 7.
Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Is this like the OS X versus OS 10?
Yeah. Similar. According to Passware, in fact, the latest version of Mac OS X and/or 10 has a vulnerability that allows login passwords to be exposed while the Mac is locked in sleep mode. There's a good explanation of this on Security Now with Steve Gibson this morning, but briefly what it is using FireWire, which uses direct memory access to achieve fast connection speeds, but also allows anyone connected to the system through the port to have full access to the computer's memory range. Now, if automatic login is disabled, it's really easy to plug into the FireWire port while the computer is either in sleep mode or in hibernate and access the system memory and get all the passwords out of it. In fact, Passware makes password recovery software. So this is built as a way for you to recover your passwords by using this vulnerability.
Well, I know that there's that option in OS 10 where if your machine's not booting, you can use a FireWire and actually boot from another machine to boot your operating system so you can fix it. And we recently did that like about 5 or 6 days ago to a MacBook here. And I had never done it, but it works fine. And I wonder if it's part of that same hole where you can just boot into your MacBook from another machine. Maybe it's that same hole.
Yeah, it's the direct memory access that is the hole. And automatic login being on makes it easy. Although I said just turning automatic login off doesn't prevent someone from getting your password, because if you enter the password, it's then resident in memory. Experts recommend turning your Mac off or disabling the FireWire port.
Or if you have a MacBook Air, you don't even have FireWire, so this isn't an issue.
Well, yeah, you probably don't have to worry about it.
The other thing is this requires physical access to the actual laptop. I mean, don't forget that. It's over FireWire. It's not over the network. So if you keep your laptop to yourself, and you're not just like loaning it out to people, that's one other way to keep it safe. It's a simple way.
Well, you've seen all the times that someone will tweet something which is clearly some sort of a prank from the office mate who sits next to them. I mean, people can get physical access to computers on a pretty regular basis.
Yeah.
I have never done that to you.
I'm going to have to
if
put
you were
like glue
unclear.
in my FireWire port. Thanks, good to know.
Yeah,
Keep
but
an eye on her.
just to clarify, it's any OS 10 machine that has a FireWire port.
And Snow Leopard.
Yeah.
As far as we know right now.
Now, conceivably, there's a way to access that direct memory other than a FireWire port, but Password doesn't mention that. So I wouldn't say you're 100% safe just because you don't have a FireWire port, but that does seem to be a good way to avoid it. And even if you want to make sure that FireWire is disabled in whatever operating system you're
I wonder
using.
how many copies of Password software program that runs for about $1,000
Yeah, I
they'll
know.
sell before this issue gets fixed on Apple's side.
And then do you get your money back if they fix the issue? I mean,
not.
Password does more than just
You're
that.
right, yes,
Take
right.
advantage of
That's
that
true.
vulnerability. All right, finally, Nielsen has a study out about how we watch videos online. Just 3% of Netflix users say they watch the service on a mobile phone or an iPad. Hulu has even less. Although half of all Netflix subscribers surveyed use a video game system to watch instantly. So they're using their Xbox, PS3, or their Wii. 42% of Netflix users watch on their computers. Hulu viewers primarily watch television shows. Netflix users watch more movies than TV, though they do watch a lot of both. So not a lot of big surprises here, except I actually am a little surprised by that mobile number. I didn't expect it to be huge, but 3%, that's almost nothing.
Well, Netflix requires a bit of bandwidth, and Hulu requires you to you have to pay. or you have a Flash.
Well, you have to pay for Netflix too.
Well, I mean, for the Hulu content being directly accessed on a computer, being 89%, not that surprising because you can access the free stuff. I mean, you're right about Netflix being a paid service, but then again, you do have to pay for that. If you want Hulu and you're used to that experience, you might not be willing to go from free on a computer to paying $7 a month or $8 a month.
I don't know
right
about
away.
that, man. It's 3% for Netflix on a mobile phone, 2% for Hulu. It's almost no difference. And it's 3% on an iPad for Netflix, 1% for Hulu. Yeah, it's speechless. I know.
I am surprised that almost half of Netflix users are watching Netflix content on a computer. I like to have the option, but that's almost never how I decide to watch Netflix content unless I have to.
89% of Hulu users watch directly on a computer. And I think that was probably the Netflix number a couple of years ago. I think that's where people start using these services.
Also, Hulu Plus. I mean, I watch Hulu through my Roku, and I have to go Hulu Plus in order to access that. So it's probably a lot of free Hulu users too that are driving those numbers up.
But the other thing is,
also, I wonder if they're taking into account that so many people, like, we use a Mac Mini and we just pump the video to our head unit and we just use a computer, even though we put it on our 65-inch plasma screen.
They have that number. Connecting computer to TV, 14% of Netflix users, 20% of Hulu users.
Yeah, back to the whole mobile thing, though. We did talk about, I think, YouTube having, 22% of the mobile of
mobile bandwidth,
mobile bandwidth. So maybe people apparently they want to use YouTube to watch video. They don't want to watch something like a Hulu or program length. These are long. Don't forget, these are very long watching experiences. For Hulu, we're talking about 22 minutes for a show. Netflix could be a movie, so it could be a couple of hours. Do you really want to sit there with this little mobile device, a 3-inch device?
But an iPad is pretty. I mean, it's almost as big of an experience as a lot of people's laptops.
You could get a TV at some point.
Zuckerberg says iPad is not mobile.
Yes, don't forget. He doesn't watch anything on an iPad because it's not mobile. He has it set up in a room.
He must know
fixed
everything.
to a wall or
He's
something.
got so much money.
Yes.
No, I think you're right, Iyaz. I think it's because people don't want to watch it on that small screen, even a tablet screen, which is 10 inches.
I mean, this sounds silly. I was trying to watch Netflix on an iPad, and the speakers are just too soft. Like, you can't just leave it there unless you have headphones in. And at that point, you might as well just give up, I think.
I watched most of it.
I don't watch that movie
I'm not sitting
anyway.
here like this for 3 hours with an iPad. It's very uncomfortable.
Hey, you got to have
watch long movies.
have it on the couch, right in front of you, with headphones.
On the couch with my TV, just sitting over there doing nothing.
Speaker system. Come on, this old nerd.
Well, I mean, I could rig it, but I mean, why would you? I'll rig a computer instead.
Yeah.
A side note too. Sarah mentioned earlier that Mad Men coming to Netflix here in the United States. Canada and Latin America also getting some stuff that we don't get in the United States. It's about time. Canada and Latin America are adding CBS content. The two regions won't get the exact same content, but they're both getting 90210 and Dexter. And we don't have Dexter here in the U.S.
Is this 90210 the cool seasons or 90210 the current seasons?
Oh, so
the
the current
CW
seasons are
versions.
not cool?
No.
Okay.
It's the current generation version of it.
Bummer.
And that'll be past seasons, not the current
I'm
ones.
sorry, Canada and Latin America.
Well, they could
Was it
bond over
ever-
that experience.
I guess.
Are you saying it was cool?
90210, one of the best shows in the history of television.
Oh, okay.
Well, the first episode, they act as a
I didn't watch
crossover.
TV back then, so.
Let's move on to the news fuse. I really want to get us running away from that explosion.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we got to get
Baby
there.
steps.
We can use the Pixel Core green screen.
Exactly.
According to IMS research, smartphone sales will hit 420 million units by the end of 2011. Samsung is setting the pace with 300% growth year over year. Samsung now has 13% of the market. IMS estimates that smartphones will hit 1 billion sales by 2016, when they will account for 50% of all mobile handsets sold.
Aaron Swartz is currently facing charges that he illegally downloaded a bunch of content from the online journal archive JSTOR. Allegedly, Swartz entered into a restricted area to download the content. Now, how did he get caught up in this suit? MIT's tech staff found a laptop with an external drive in a networking closet, alerted the police, who set to take fingerprints off the computer, set up webcams to see who would take the laptop, which led the police straight to Swartz.
Yeah, so the new stuff here is that he was caught on webcam.
Yeah.
Got to watch out.
We've
We
talked
got
about
one
this before, but
right over there, thieves.
yeah.
We don't know if they use a drop
Take
kit.
anything off my desk, we will know.
We will
And we
know
will
if you steal
prosecute.
Sarah's lunch.
Nokia is doing what it can to make its future brighter by fully embracing Windows Phone 7 for its smartphones, but it's an uphill battle Today, Moody's Investor Service downgraded Nokia's debt rating to the second lowest investment grade rating with a negative outlook. And that means, in normal terms, that this is going to scare investors who might put their money elsewhere, which could be devastating for Nokia.
Like they need something more devastating. The new IEEE 802.22 standard has been published and will finally allow manufacturers to start producing standardized devices that use the white space freed up by the digital TV transition more than 2 years ago. The standards will provide networking in areas over a 62-mile radius at speeds of 22 megabits per second, and theoretically, it'd only take 302 devices to cover the entire U.S.
302.
it?
Yeah.
Damn.
They'll probably use more just, for redundancy, but that's pretty good.
Behold, the first Mango-powered Windows phone. The device is the Fujitsu Toshiba IS-12T. I guess that's how they would pronounce
Yep.
it, which is waterproof. It's kind of cool. Along with a 1 gigahertz Qualcomm processor inside and a 3.7-inch screen. It'll be on sale in Japan on KDDI's OW network starting September or beyond.
Oh, so maybe the September thing?
It looks like it. Well, at least over there. I don't know how their carriers work in Japan. Okay, certain products made by Sony are headed for extinction, like the mini disc and the 8mm videotape. But don't count the Sony Walkman personal media player yet. That's not dead. Sony's updated the AE and S series of Walkman players, which range in price from $79 to $219. Coming out in September of this year, all of them support language learning functions as well as a karaoke mode.
Oh, I like
so
this.
you can annoy your friends all day long.
I love it. And you thought you didn't need a Walkman, Tom.
Don't stop believing. The BlackBerry Playbook. It's a sleek piece of hardware, but it does suffer from a lack of apps. They're getting more all the time, but that's the big knock on it. The Android app player was leaked this week. We talked about that. It allows the Playbook to run Android apps, but now there's a video showing the Playbook browsing the Android market app. Video was made by a Crackberry forum user who describes the setup as a proof of concept. So maybe soon, a couple months, we'll see the Playbook surge in popularity once the Android app player goes official. Maybe.
Or not.
HTC has been on the losing end of a couple of patent disputes with this company called Apple, related to smartphones.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, we've actually talked about it on the show before. Score a victory for HTC. It's a tangential win, actually. The International Trade Commission has ruled that Apple's OS X infringes on S3's patents, and HTC, as you may remember, now owns S3. So that won't give HTC a whole lot of leverage for their ongoing battle, but at least they can, I don't know, have a cupcake party to
It's a small
commemorate this
victory.
win.
Mini muffins.
Let's give yourself some chocolate,
Actually,
HTC. You've done good.
I think Google may have a
Windows
trademark
Phone
on
cake.
I think Microsoft has cupcakes, actually.
Or some
That
kind
was
of
just
Hold on.
frozen yogurt that they
maybe
have.
you're right.
When you want Apple iPhone phone rumors, don't look further than the Swiss. According to an anonymous executive at Swisscom, the next version of the iPhone will be shipping to the U.S. on September 5th. The rest of the world would get it in October. The odd thing is that September 5th in the United States is Labor Day. That's a very unusual launch date. Then again, Apple's breaking tradition by not launching the iPhone in June, so who knows?
Well,
I hope not.
He says it ships on September 5th. He's Swiss. He doesn't know it's Labor Day. He's obviously making it up.
He's Swiss. I like your logic train there. He's Swiss. He's making it
Well,
up.
he's Swiss, so he doesn't know when our Labor Day is.
Wait,
He
know
might.
if it'd be
I mean, it's
during
pretty
Drag
public
Con.
knowledge.
He's at Swisscom. He doesn't have internet
When
there.
is Labor Day in Switzerland?
Oh, they don't have things like that.
Don't they?
I don't know, actually. I don't know the answer. Sorry,
I do not want
Switzerland.
it to happen, so that'll be like during Dragon Con.
Well, you
They're
can
neutral.
Google
They
it.
don't work.
Yeah. Maybe
May
it's
1st.
shipping from manufacturers.
May 1st is Labor Day in Switzerland.
Thank
Happy?
you, Google.
Well,
they have
are we gonna-
Happy
you're gonna
belated
take
Labor
credit for
Day.
No, they have
Spice.
Google in Switzerland too.
that. So, but my point is, the guy probably doesn't know that it's Labor Day in the United States.
So you're saying there's no stock in this rumor?
You disagree with that?
No.
I think the only way this is true is if it's shipping from manufacturers on the 5th and it goes on sale later that week. That could be possible.
We're still looking at September launch is what the biggest rumor is. We don't know what the date
We're
is.
also looking at randomizer or the register, perhaps. There we go.
Randomizer.
George Lucas has been defeated by his own Stormtrooper designer.
Ooh.
He has been suing, well, George Lucas hasn't been suing. Actually, George Lucas usually when he comes across these lawsuits says, hey, stop suing. But Lucas's lawyers have been
Sweet
suing
voice.
Andrew Ainsworth, the man who designed the Imperial Stormtrooper uniforms, over the right to sell replicas. And Ainsworth made the original helmets in 1977, and he has been selling replicas for a lot of money. He's made between $8,000 and $30,000, depending on how you count it. And he won his case. He gets the right to sell them because were ruled they were ruled industrial props instead of works of art. If they'd been ruled works of art, then Lucas would have the normal copyright of 70 years plus, or the life of the person plus 70 years or whatever it is. But since they were ruled industrial props, they only get 15 years of protection, and that's over.
So there you go. Now this guy can keep selling these replicas and make tons of money if he wants to, or not. He could share the rights if he wanted to.
Now, what's funny about this is he's the guy who came up with it. Lucas gave him the concept, obviously. But
he wanted fascist white armored suits.
This is the guy who designed the helmet, right? And so he has to wait for copyright to expire and win a court case to take advantage of his own work.
If copyright's expired, can everybody else make replicas too?
Yep.
So
absolutely. But he's the official guy. This is why you don't always need copyright law, because people are going to want to buy from the official guy. You don't always need copyright protection to make a market for something.
It's funny that he won because it's an industrial prop, even though I'm sure to him it's a bit of a work of art.
Totally. But he had to argue in court that it wasn't.
Right, yeah. I made so many of them. Not works of art.
They're just props. On to the calendar.
Guess who's 30 years old today?
Iyaz?
No.
Derek?
No.
Jason?
No.
I think we're all over 30. I
don't trust any of us.
Well, MS-DOS is 30. So we're older than MS-DOS.
Don't trust MS-DOS.
But happy birthday anyway, MS-DOS. Not just DOS, Microsoft DOS.
How much did they pay for that?
I
$25,000.
Installing that. I remember that 5.5 black floppy with the notch on the side.
Real beaut.
It was a smart purchase by Microsoft.
Went the way of the CD player.
Do you think Seattle Computer Products is kicking themselves for selling it for $25,000 in 1981?
A little bit. Microsoft's only worth, a couple $1 billion.
I think
Probably.
Microsoft probably
There's
got the better
a lot
end
of
that
kicking.
deal.
But
Yeah.
how could they know? Today, Universal Music Group launches Digster. That's Dig with one D or one G,
And
which
one
will
D.
give.
It does have one D.
There's one D too, which will give Spotify users lots of playlists curated by Universal employees. Ooh, yay! And music artists. That actually might be kind of fun.
I'm going to try to say this is an industrial design.
Yes, absolutely. Industrial design. I'm going to copy it now.
Sprint's earning calls tomorrow. That's Thursday, July 28th. They're expected to announce a deal with Light Squared. Pretty exciting.
And
You've
make
been following that
everything
story.
clear. Don't
Yeah,
forget.
they're going to make everything clear.
They're going to explain the meaning of life.
On
That
Thursday
day too.
with Light
All
Squared.
clear.
Maybe they can make Light Squared clear to everybody. If you've got an Asus E-Pad transformer, you'll be able to get Honeycomb tomorrow. Only one more day. Starting July 31st, you can also go into Toys R Us and buy yourself an Amazon Kindle. I don't think of it as a toy, but might
those kids are gonna
actually
play video
sell
games,
pretty
they
well
can
at
read,
Toys R
too.
Us. You got to go there already
Kids
to
like
get
to
something
read.
for the kid.
Yeah.
And it's like
They're playing Sudoku on it.
I'd be interested to see
for their
how many
math
units they
skills.
sell. The Samsung TouchWiz UX update for the Tab 10.1 is available on August 3rd, but it's only going to be available at the Samsung Experience Store in New York City. It's part of an event where the store will be sideloading the updates for
That's an
10.1
interesting
buyers.
way of distributing an
That is.
update.
It's bizarre.
At least everyone will get it the same.
Yeah.
You got it sideloaded.
And because it's being sideloaded, it'll wipe out everything that you have already. So you got to be okay with that.
So everyone's gonna have the same experience.
That's their warning.
Yeah.
The over-the-air update that comes out eventually won't wipe out your device. So
So
you'll be all
wait
good.
if you
I'm
want.
not crazy about
Just
stores
wait.
calling themselves experiences. You're a store. You got a door, you walk through, you buy things.
It has two doors.
I'll
I'm a
get
big
off my
Jimi
high
Hendrix
horse now.
fan.
Olympus pegs the EPO3 at $700. That'll be in September. The VF3 viewfinder is coming for $180. Pretty exciting. So tiny, so small. Remember the Ultrabooks Intel was touting at Computex last spring? Anybody?
Not so
No.
much.
No?
Is that, wait, it's like the
You've
UMPC.
forgotten already?
Oh, I remember the term Ultrabook, but I don't
Yeah.
remember anything
I
about
remember
it.
Ultra Mobile PC even.
Well, the first one from Asus should arrive in September. So you have a little bit of time to
Oh, these are the
catch up on what you've already forgotten
thin
before they even
things.
become
Yeah,
available.
okay.
Acer, Dell, and HP will come later because apparently they have some LCD supply issues right now. And finally, the space station will be deorbited after 2020. Russia and
That's
some
no
partners
moon.
are going to drop the International Space Station into the ocean. That's the ocean on Earth at the end of its life cycle because they don't want to leave a bunch of junk in space.
This one-
That would be littering.
So crash it into the earth and hope you don't hit land.
Space junk
You know,
is
it's actually
irresponsible.
easier than it sounds. There is a lot of empty space on the surface of the Earth.
Yeah.
Oh, the ocean.
Well, they've
Huge.
got
Also-
they've got that
also-
big garbage heap in the Pacific that's
Hopefully
like
they do the
bigger
count.
than Texas.
Use the calculations.
I've
right.
never seen it.
Yeah.
Way out
Also,
there.
if they sink it in the ocean, there'll be a reef for fish.
Yeah, that's right. It'll revitalize the ocean.
Yeah.
Just remember, last
It
one
helps.
out of the International Space Station, crash it. That's what it says on the door. On to the emails. TNT@twit.tv. Steve Brock wrote in and said, hey, regarding that study about YouTube streaming, and we mentioned earlier, 22% mobile video traffic is YouTube. Steve says, I know a lot of people who use YouTube as an alternative to streaming music on cell phones. So if you're not paying for RDO or Spotify or any of these, you might just be like pulling up some videos and listening to music over YouTube.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times too. It's one of the faster ways to get music. You don't have to
If
find
you want
like,
a particular song, definitely.
no download necessary. You can just run it. Next email is from Xavier. He says, hey, TNT crew, I started a petition to save the repository of awesomeness that is Google Labs. I'd be honored if you mentioned it on the show. We're going to have the link in the show notes, but it's ipetitions.com/petition/save Google Labs/signatures. So check it out.
Here's my question on this one. Can you really do that, though? Because most of Google Labs is actually hooked into Google. So what are you going to do?
You're going to petition Google and hope that they, I don't know, donate the code or something. It wouldn't. I mean, they made Google Wave open source after people got all upset about Google Wave going away. So maybe they'll donate some of the Labs code. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Next email from JR, who has a suggestion regarding the recent change to the Kindle app on the iPhone and iPad. Fortunately, I'd listened to your show when you mentioned about the update to the app. The Kindle Store button would be removed. I thought this would be really inconvenient because I have a random LastPass generated password to Amazon, which is a pain to deal with on Safari on the iPhone and iPad. But I got the bright idea of using the button one last time before I allowed the update and bookmarking the URL that the button sent to Safari. That URL contains my login info. Presumably it's encrypted, so when I use it, I'm logged in. Seems to work. Hope this idea is useful to someone else.
So yeah, if you haven't updated your Amazon Kindle app yet on iOS, you might want to consider that.
That's what I did.
Make it easier. Did you do that, Derek?
Yeah, I did. I actually did it like a couple days ago.
Good idea. And then Dwayne writes in and says, it seems from your discussion of Apple's changes to their in-app subscription policies that you're not taking a consumer-focused position. It seems to me that the developers are being greedy by not offering a secure, quick, and frictionless method for consumers to purchase their content. It is just as short-sighted for these developers to not recognize that there is a user base willing to pay for content if it is delivered securely and easily, as it has been short-sighted for their content owners in the entertainment industry who greedily protect their current business models at the expense of the user experience. Perhaps if big-name stores like Amazon, Sony, and Financial Times are not willing to provide the in-app subscriptions, then smaller app developers and content owners who will happily pay for Apple to handle billing, customer service, scalability, and advertising for 30% of the revenue may be advantaged by offering the additional value of in-app subscription payments on Apple's terms. So that is a legitimate other side of this story. I don't necessarily agree with it, Dwayne, but it's a well-made argument.
I mean, it's a different point of view. I've seen Amazon has actually sent out emails saying, oh, you can still get our books via our Amazon.com way, and they explain it in their emails. But it is a little bit more inconvenient that you don't have that button there. But Amazon's about making money. Everyone's trying to make money, and so is Apple in this one.
All right. Don't forget our Reddit. technewstoday.reddit.com. That's our subreddit. You can submit stories there. We thank all the folks who submit stories and vote things up and down, even if you don't submit stories. We've got over 1,500 Redditors over there helping us out. Thanks to Albibum, Okla Bear, PC Guy 8088, Size Spud, Eliminat, Null Zero, and more. Captain Kipper's in there as well. Appreciate your help in figuring out what stories should go into the lineup at Tech News Today. And don't forget to buy bricks. Bricks.twit.tv. We still have to put them up over there in the hallway over there, so it's not too late to get your order in and get your name emblazoned in our news studio. Derek Colanduno, thanks so much for being with us, and let folks know about the Skepticality podcast and whatever else is going on online.
Well, you can see the URL at the bottom here, skepticality.com, and we do our shows every 2 weeks, and we do mainly science, and we do interviews with musicians, artists, scientists, people that are big in culture and pop culture. We've had many TV writers and creators, so yeah, many things. We're a melange of, of fun
cornucopia,
Yeah,
if
it's-
you will.
Yes, there you go.
If you want a good skeptical point of view, definitely check it out, skepticality.com. Thanks to everybody for watching or listening. You can find us online, twit.tv/TNT. You can email us, TNT@twit.tv, and you can give us a call, 260-TNT-SHOW. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.